thing we're going to do is look at how we can use our FME server technology to automate all this, so you can have it look after things for you while you're still in bed sleeping. And so to do this, we're going to explore something in FME server called automations. So what's the definition? In FME server, automations are graphically created workflows that can run one or more steps in response to something happening. So that's what they are. It's a way of gluing things together. And so what's our strategy here then? Well, you saw my examples earlier where I had some kind of validation stuff in the same workspace as the actual data load. And so if we're going to use an automation strategy, we can actually break things apart into more like, actually Carl von Stetten gave a talk about microservices in FME. So we're going to break, you can get that from our FME World Tour virtual if any of you are interested. But we'll break apart the work into a set of workspaces, one that's going to validate the source, one that's going to validate our destination schema, and then we'll run those back to back. And if all is well, then we'll finally do the actual load. And so that's what we're going to do. Here's what these look like. So really, again, it's that same validation workflow, but then at the bottom, we do the check, and we use this custom transformer from FME Hub, which basically says, if anything comes in, remember, only bad things are coming in here. So if all is well, nothing will come in. If anything comes in, then it's bad, and we will go and warn the automations framework that the source schema was bad. If nothing came in, then that's our sign that the source schema was okay, and we'll send it out that way. So I'm just going to hop into Workbench for a sec, and that's what's going on here. This glue between Workbench and FME Server is this thing called the Automations, FME Server Automations Writer, and that's how you create these little outputs. And so I'll do that, and then I would go ahead and I would publish this workspace to FME Server, and I did that ahead of time, and I would walk through and it would get up there. I'd also have a similar workspace to validate the destination schema. And again, I would say the destination schema is okay or bad. And then lastly, I have an actual database update workspace, which has almost nothing in it. And so I have uploaded all these to my FME server, so we can hop out of here. And let's go over to the automations in FME server. And I will not make this automation from scratch. I'll just show you what it is. So basically, I had gone and dragged out a trigger, and then in here, I double click it and I say, whenever a file arrives. So when a directory was modified, when a file arrives, then I will do something. So I'll just delete this guy off of here. So that's this directory watch is going to watch for a file to arrive. Then we're going to run that workspace. I dragged out an action tool to run a workspace, and that's the one to validate the source schema. If all was okay, then we'll validate the destination schema. And indeed, if that was just fine, then lastly, we'll actually do the data load. So, so that's how we're going to run this. Now, right now, this automation is not running. I got to just double check. How often am I checking? I'm going to poll every 4 seconds, which is kind of aggressive, but for demo purposes, that's fine. I'm going to start this automation. Oop, there it goes. So now this automation is out there running. And now if I go to my files and connections, and in the, I've set it to watch this directory. I could have it watch any directory in my organization, but I'm watching this directory here. And so if I take this updated business owners file, this is Zachary and Zoe with no spaces, which is bad. So I'm going to just take and upload this file. I dropped it in there, it uploaded it. Now I nervously wait for it to wake up. Let's take a look at the jobs here. Nothing going on the jobs. There's nothing queued, nothing running. Oh, validate source schema ran today. Looks like nothing else did. Let's see what the Meister has to say. So 8:56, which is right now, it is saying bad things. So it didn't do its job, which would mean that nothing got changed in my database. Let me just double check. I'm going to hop back out to here. Let's grab this one so I can, this is my easiest way to see what's in the database. It should still be the Josie and company, the Jack and so on, the ones start with J. So let's just make sure that they're there. Yeah, Jasmine and friends are there. And so next then, let's go to the fixed business owners where Brian actually gave me a file with the right names. And I'm going to go and add those to my resources. So I'm going to drag these in. And I mean, triggers, this could be a file arriving in Dropbox or something being emailed. We even have one where you drag a file into a Slack channel and it runs this and gives you the results back. That can be done. So we just did the fixed owners. Let's take a look at our jobs yet to see if anything good has happened. The validate destination just happened and the source. Let's see if I go again here. Let's look at, and the database update seems to have happened at 8:57, which means it's almost closing time. So if I go back here and I reload, with any luck at all, we should see my cousin's kids, Zach and Zoe. That really are my cousin kids' names. Okay, Zach and Zoe, let's see. Get rid of this, sort the license numbers alphabetically. Sure enough, Zoe and Zach are where they're supposed to be along with their friend Zadie. And so that means that the automation happened, it guarded against bad data, and it let the good data go through. And so this is happy news. And of course, we could be sending Slack messages and who knows what all else from that. Yeah, that's the automation magic that pulls this all together. I was just doing this with an FME cloud machine that Brian set up, but of course you can run FME Server in your own places.